How many times have you been building a WordPress website and you've needed some really simple e-commerce options to simply buy a product or something like that? And you think, I really don't want to go down the route of using WooCommerce or buying some really complex solution. Well, today I'm going to show you a really easy way to take a form plugin, that's right, a form plugin, and use this to be able to sell online. Now for this example, I'm going to be using Fluent Forms Pro. Now you do need the Pro version of this to get access to these additional options, but even if you don't use Fluent Forms Pro, you use something else, check those out because chances are they're going to have similar options available. But okay, with that being said, I've installed the plugin, I've got everything set up and we're ready to configure everything to start working. Now before we do, let's take a very quick look at what I've put together. Now this is pretty ugly, but it demonstrates how things work. If we scroll down, you can see we've got these price breakdowns of what we can purchase. And if we come down, we've got the choose your membership level option. From there, I can choose whether I want gold or platinum access. And if I've got a coupon code, I can use that. And then I can go to the option to buy now, and I can go through whatever payment options I've got available. I've even got the ability to see my purchases and view the invoices and all those kinds of things from just using the form plugin. So now we've seen the basics of what we're going to create. Let's go and create it. So into the dashboard of WordPress, I've got Fluent Forms Pro installed. First thing we need to do is set this up to be able to work with payment gateways and open up these additional options. So we'll come over to Fluent Forms Pro and we'll come down into the global settings section. And inside there, we're going to come down to the payments module. Now we've got three different sets of options. I've configured a few things, but I want to run through them anyway because there's more options available than what I've set up, which is really, really basic. First thing you can do is enable the payment module, which you're going to need to do. Then you can drop in your business name, your business address, logo, and so on. Hop over into the currency side of things. We can then choose what currency we want to work with. I've set mine up to work with GBP or British pounds, but you use whatever is relevant for your market. And then you can customize how the currency will look depending upon what kind of currency you have. In my case, I'm going to have the sign on the left-hand side and I've got everything else set up the way I want. We've then got the option to go into our pages and subscription management, and this is where we can handle the additional pages that are going to show things like our receipts, those types of things. Now you can see this allows us to work with recurring payments. That's beyond what I want to cover with this, but you do need to have Stripe as the payment gateway to be able to use that option. We're not going to look into that, but if you'd like a video covering it, let me know in the comment section down below. Okay, so we've got two pages we need to create. We've got the order history page and we've got the payment receipt pages. Now I've already created these pages, but all we need to do with either of those is put in this simple little shortcode. So there's our payments, for example, and there's our payment view. So all we need to do is copy that, go over to our pages, create or open up the page you've already created. In this case, I've got the order history. We'll open it, and all I need is to add that shortcode. So I'm simply going to come inside, and we're going to just paste in that shortcode. There's our Fluent Forms payments. Now I'm using Gutenberg in this example, but you could use this with pretty much any builder you want to work with, and you'll have certain level of styling controls available to you. All we need to do now is click Update. Go back to our Fluent Forms setup and make sure that we choose the correct page for, in this case, the payment management. And then you do exactly the same thing for the payment receipt page. Either create the page, or if you've already got it created, select the page you want, save this, and then simply drop this little shortcode in, and you have everything set up ready to go. So now we've got the pages set up and we've set our currency and so on, we then need to move on to our payment methods. As you can see, we've got a range of popular payment methods from Stripe through to PayPal, Molly, Razorpay, and so on. If you just want to set things up to test, you can use the test payment option, which is what I've got. But if you want to use something like PayPal, all you need to do is select it, enable the payment method, fill out the relevant information, and choose whether you want to be in sandbox mode or live mode, whichever option works for you, and then follow any additional instructions that may be needed to get that connected. Once you have everything set up, hit save, and you have that payment gateway created. For our example though, we're going to keep this really simple and just use the test payment option. But again, if you want me to show you how to do this in complete detail, let me know in the comment section below. The final thing we've got is if you want to enable and use coupons. So what we need to do is come into the coupon section, and here we can create a new coupon. So we can open this up and you can see we can create coupons. We can set the coupon code, the discount, how you want to handle the discount, and so on. So whatever you've used before, you can see this works in a very simple fashion. And you've even got shortcodes for the success messages and so on. And you can choose the different messages you want to use for inactive, minimum, stackable, limited, and so on. Set everything you want and then set this to be active, save your coupon, and that becomes available as part of the overall order process. Very simple. We'll cancel out that for now though. So there's the settings all set up. Now we can go and start building our form. So let's come over and create a new form. We're going to choose to use a blank form to start from scratch. And there's our form. So now we can start building this out. Now, if for any reason you don't see this option that says payment fields, make sure you go to the first part of this video, which is setting the payment options up. Otherwise, you won't see this because it's not currently active. Once you've got that set, you can open this up and then we get these additional modules we can start to use to build out our purchase option. So first of all, we can see we want to have a payment item. So we'll select the option and you can see that now drops in a sample payment item. We can choose to edit this and now we can change this to whatever we want. So let's change this to membership. We can choose things like label placement and so on and admin field. So I'll just grab that and I'll put that in the admin field as well. And again, you can then choose what type of option you want to allow them to choose to purchase. So for example, we want to have the select option because we want to have a couple of different levels available. Choosing that will open up the additional options. We can also use things like checkbox, radio boxes, or just a single line item. We'll choose select. We'll put our first item in, which in this example is going to be gold membership. We'll set the price on that. In this example, this is going to be 100. If you want to add an image, you can add that here. We're going to leave it as it is. We're going to go and add another one. And this is going to be our platinum membership. We'll set the price. And you can carry on repeating this for as many times as you need. You can choose a placeholder and set whether this is going to be required. In this example, it is. So we can say yes. You can set up any global error messages if you want to. And if you jump into the advanced options, this allows you to set up the styling options. If you want to target this with classes and so on to apply custom CSS to it, you can do that directly inside here. So this is the first part. There's our membership level all set up. Now we can come back to our input fields and we can choose things like, what's our payment method? Well, we'll add the payment method in. In this example, we've only got the offline payment, and that's perfectly fine. But if you offer multiple different payment methods, you can have that set up and let people choose. Again, we can click this and we can set any options we want to. So you can see at the moment, the payment method is set to offline, but if you had more inside here, you could choose which ones are applicable. Again, do you want this to be required? Advanced options to target it for customization and even using conditional logic. So you can set this up so this will only show up, for example, once someone chooses a membership level, whatever you want. Come back to our input fields, and then you can do things like your payment summary, your coupon. So let's just add in a coupon code. Let's add in a payment summary, and you can see that will show a summary. Choose our coupon code. Again, we can set any values inside here, and again, finally, choosing this option allows us to select exactly what we want to show up inside here as well. So now we've got everything set. So we can go and we can save this form. You can set any other customization options you want up inside your styling, all those kinds of things. But for this example, let's keep it really simple, exactly as it is, and we'll see how easy it is. Final thing I want to do though before we go on is submit form makes no sense, so we'll just change that and we'll say purchase membership. Want to change things like your button size, position, and so on? You can do that here as well. So we'll leave that as it is. We'll save our form. We can preview this if we wanted to see what it's going to look like. This will show us, and we can change then. We can see what this look like on the different responsive modes to make sure everything looks okay. And if you want to, you can change the styles. So you can say we want to just like inherit the child theme, use the classic style, change this over to modern bold. You know, you kind of get the idea. I quite like the look of the bootstrap. There we go. I like that. We'll save our settings. Job done. So now we can go and use that anywhere on our site. All we need to do is copy the form from here. So we'll just choose the option. There we go. It's copied to our clipboard. Now we'll head over to our page. For this, we're going to use the purchase membership page. There's my page already built. So I'm going to scroll down to where I want the form to be inserted, which is directly by here. So we're going to add the block, search for shortcode, choose the option, and we'll drop in that shortcode. There we go. There's our Fluent Forms. We'll update this. And now everything is ready to go. So let's go and preview this page. Scroll down. You can see there's our membership option, so we can choose which one we want. So you can see there's no payment items been selected yet. Let's choose the platinum membership, for example. Tells us how much that is. Choose the gold membership, updates and tells us. If we've got a coupon code, we can add that in. We can click on purchase membership, and depending upon what payment gateway we've got set up, will take us through that process. If you're using things like Stripe, Molly, PayPal, and so on, all the sensitive information about the payment will be handled on their servers, so you don't store that data on the site itself. So don't worry about payment information being stored. That's not being handled at all. So let's say purchase membership. There you go. Thank you very much. Obviously, we want to update that. But now we've got that all set up, we can go to our order history page, and you can see there's our order history. Tells us the status, pending, and so on. We can view the action, and we can see exactly what we've purchased. There's all our information. Again, you can style this how you want to. This is just literally dropping the short codes in. So it needs a little bit of refining to make it fit in with the design you're working with. But you can see just how easy this all is. Now, if we go back into the dashboard of our WordPress, we can come into our Fluent Forms Pro. We can see our payments. This will then show us the orders. You can see this is currently set as pending. The source, in other words, how the payment was handled. And now we can come into any of these orders. So this will then show us all the information about the order. We can find out the order type. We can find out all the submission information, payment details, any notes, and so on. And once you're happy and your payment has been completed, you can even come into the edit transaction, set up and change anything you want inside here, or just say, pretty good, this is paid, we'll confirm. That is the order then completed. Again, go back out to our payments. So now we can see under the transaction section, we're now set as paid. Now, obviously, if you were using something like PayPal and you connected this up correctly, this will handle a lot of these things for you. So once the actual transaction has been completed, it'll come back, tell it it's been completed, be paid, and so on. But if you want to take manual transactions, offline transactions, and so on, you still have full manual control over exactly how this all works. But as you can see, you get all the key things you need to be able to handle online sales using Fluent Forms Pro without having to use any additional plugins on top of it. Now, if you want to find out more about working with tools like this, you can watch these videos next, and all applicable links are in the description down below.